Welcome, everyone, back to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Sodacast, and today we are here on episode 19. We are at the end of the year, and we're here at episode 19. So I thought it would only be appropriate to wrap it all around, coming to the end of the year, and bring on our very first special guest. Naff, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Yo, the person you know all so well. 18 episodes, you saw me, and then never again. I'm back for another hour, maybe even hour 30 minutes. Who knows? It is me. And I'm outside this time. I'm actually touching grass. Soda viewer known to go outside. It is unheard of. A cryptid in the soda community.
I'll be honest, this is definitely something new. We've never had a guest actually outside of a residence, so this is interesting. How does it feel like to be out in the real world?
It's good. It is a strange time to be doing that. So my time it's maybe like 20 past 5-ish. Also, it is early November. So what that means in the UK, bonfire night. Do you guys celebrate bonfire night?
I mean, like, some people might like have like a campfire or bonfire during these times, but like nothing like a dedicated national day or something.
Yeah, so we celebrate Guy Fawkes trying to blow Parliament by blowing up kind of like these sigils that remind us of him, and it's very loud, so intermittently it's going to sound like I'm in a war zone. It's going to be a good time.
Fair enough. Well, Naff, speaking of good times, this is a horrible transition, by the way, but speaking of good times, obviously you've noticed things have changed around the Sodacast channel. So since last time you were on, there was kind of just like a straight down the middle split. If you look to your left, you look to your right, you look up, look down right now. Do you see the borders? Do you see the new borders now?
I do indeed see the new borders. They are vibrant and beautiful, and I can't read what else you wrote from my script, but they're good. The little goblins in the back of the Sodacast podcast have done some good work.
Thank you, man. Thank you. We appreciate it. But Naff, something else has also changed. So it's always a requirement to bring a soda onto the podcast, but it's different now. We have a little game show. Are you familiar with it?
I am indeed familiar. I believe $13 is up for grabs.
Correct. So Naff.
Wow, look at me doing my homework.
Are you ready to put your $13 on the line?
I mean, the big question is, am I putting $13? Am I putting like £10.66? Or do I have to round up to £13? Which means I'm putting forward more than you are. Is there going to be a little bit of currency conversion here?
No, for you have to pay more. £13.
Wow, the British tax is crazy.
I don't make the rules, man. I just enforce them.
Okay, by all means, let's run it.
So, Naff, would you like to guess my soda first?
I would indeed. So, I've done a little bit of research. Editor, play L's music from Death Note right now. I have watched a grand total of 1 and a bit episodes of Sodacast podcast, so I understand how this goes. And from the library that I have explored, I know one thing for sure. In one episode, you brought on a 7-Up. What did that tell me? It means that you have a penchant for things that taste really bad. You have absolutely awful taste in soda. Not only that, I happen to know that you are a man of honor. Okay? So I truly believe you would not pick one that I would not have access to knowing. So what does that leave us with? It leaves us with the answer. And I truly believe you are sitting with a Fanta.
What kind of Fanta? You have to guess the exact brand and flavor.
You know what? I think you're an original Andy. I think you just go for the orange, which I believe your coloring is like a yellow, but the actual label will say orange.
So that is your final guess. You think it is the orange Fanta.
That is my first and only guess, yeah.
So, Neff, before I go ahead and state the answer, I need to ask, because there was a split second where I did take a sip earlier. Did you see me take a sip of my soda?
I did not. I did not.
Oh. You could have just cheated your way through that if you would have seen me sip on that soda. But the correct answer is strawberry Fanta.
That is incredibly close, though.
You were so fucking close. That was a fucking close one, man. Holy shit. You didn't even take a hint or anything. You didn't ask for a hint. You just said, we're raw dogging this bitch. I have a formula. Congratulations, Naff, but you don't get $13. Now.
Okay.
Your 13 pounds is on the line, though. Are you ready?
Bring it.
Okay. So, Naff, I'm going to ask a few simple questions here.
Done.
Is this soda the same one that you brought on from last time? Let me ask you that.
Now, here's the thing. When I brought on a soda last time, there was a big kerfuffle because you said it was not a soda. So what I've brought on could be anything from water to alcohol. I will tell you it is not the same soda I brought on last time. Can you please name the soda that I brought on last time?
Listen, man, I've done so many of these already. I can't remember everyone's fucking
Why would
soda.
you ask that question? Why would you ask that question knowing it wouldn't help?
Because I could just do a quick Google search of like, hey, what was episode 3, Sodacast episode 3 podcast guest soda? And Google would just know the answer, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not.
It began with an F, though. I did know that.
It began with an L, but so does this conversation.
I'm dyslexic, so, you know, FLs they look similar. One's upside down, one's... Yeah.
Put it down in reverse like Willy Wonka, add another F, another line, and you're there.
I'm assuming... Is it a big name brand across internationally?
It is an international brand, yeah.
Okay. You were very specific with that because I asked if it was a big name international brand. And you just said it is an international brand. So I'm assuming it's not that big of a name.
I mean, read into that all you want.
I will. Trust me, I will. I'm an
It might lead
overthinker.
from the truth.
So thing is, I brought on the strawberry one because I know that you've dyed your hair crazy colors. So you are definitely on the wackier side. You're kind of very similar to me. So I have a feeling if it is a soda, it is a colorful soda. Or at least the bottle is colorful. It wouldn't be something like a Coca-Cola, because if it was Coca-Cola, it's clear. And the soda is black, essentially. So, and then you just said, you didn't say it was a big name. You just said it was an international name. So if I had to decide, if I had to figure something out, I would say I'm gonna go the opposite route. This is gonna be interesting. Instead of Fanta strawberry, I'm gonna say Sunkist strawberry.
Ooh, interesting. Is that your final answer?
Yes, sir. Lock it in. Give me my 13 pounds right now.
Okay, so I claim to be many things. A little bit wacky, a little bit crazy. However, I also claim to be a highly educated individual. So we're not talking about your regular, Mr. Soda. Mm-hmm. We're talking about a doctor.
Oh!
Not even close. Not even close.
Oh my god! What the fuck? That just came out of nowhere. You just brought that bitch in from the fucking side like a supervillain. Bringing that shit off camera on fucking screen. Holy shit. So for all the audio listeners, Naff is drinking a Dr. Pepper, and most of my viewers live in the U.S. Some in Mexico, some in Brazil, some in Canada, some actually in France, in Africa. I don't know how, but for those of you that live in the United States, Naff's soda bottle. Can you show it to us again? It looks like a normal Dr. Pepper, but it has an extra long tip, I guess you could say. Like it's like it's an uncircumcised soda bottle. That's essentially what it is.
Okay, you're referring to the fact that the label doesn't go all the way to the top. It's been pulled back a little bit.
Yeah, what the fuck is going on there?
Every soda looks like that over here.
That is weird, to say the least.
It resembles the people of the UK.
Naff, why did you pick a Dr. Pepper out of all sodas?
Honestly, right, you were in my head a little bit. Last time, you were like, oh, that's not a soda, because the reasons. I went with something that, a little bit of an old classic. The Marlboro Red of sodas. For a Dr. Pepper, right?
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of kick to it, especially as a white person. I find the little bit of kick to be maybe a little bit too much kick. It is what it is. But I went for something that there would be no controversy. There would be no ambiguity. It is a soda. It fits the bill. And also it happened to throw you off because it is a little bit regular.
Like I said, man, okay, be honest. Am I kind of correct, though, in the sense of, like, maybe you were kind of eyeing, like, a colorful-looking soda? Or were you just like, nah, Dr. Pepper, like, straight in my head, like, this straight and simple?
There were two choices. There was Dr. Pepper.
Okay.
And then I was going to have my first Prime.
Your first Prime? Ooh.
Yeah.
That would not have counted as a soda, but...
How does that not count as a soda? I still don't understand what a soda is.
It's a fizzly drink. Prime isn't fizzy.
Yes, it is.
No, it is.
If you shake, it would have been the Prime energy drink. So it's in a can. It goes when you open it. What is a soda if not fizzy water prevailing?
Naff, you claim to be a smart guy, but you act like the dumbest guy when it comes to talking about sodas, man. This isn't fucking rocket science.
Well, you're the smartest guy I know, and you're too dumb to realize.
You wanna just for that? I'm gonna leak it right now. MatPat, episode 20 of the podcast. We're actually gonna talk about and figure out what truly identifies a soda.
Honestly, right, you can bring in, like, Webster from Webster's Dictionary. I will still hold my flag up and say Lucozade is indeed a soda. Prime, it counts as a soda. If you have to be a little bit careful when you open it, because it'll spit up on your shirt, it's a soda.
Well, I've tried Prime, and I'll be honest, man, it actually does taste pretty good. At least the bottle, not the actual, like, energy drink.
Right.
I think so. You still haven't tried Prime? Did you at least buy it and you're gonna try it later or some shit?
No, if I bought it, I would have brought it on, but I'm just gonna let it pass me by. I'm happy with my energy drink of choice, which right now I bounce between a couple of Monsters every now and again if I need one, maybe a Red Bull. But yeah, I've heard too many bad things about it, and I don't feel as though I'm missing out, especially since in the UK, Prime is massively inflated. You're looking at £3 a can or a bottle, which is insane comparatively.
Yeah, because over here it's like $2.10. So it's not that bad. Like after taxes, it comes out to like $2.25 or some shit like that per bottle.
Yeah, a little bit of a commodity over here, and also there's like this grey market of reclosed, resealed bottles that just have water and flavoring in. It's a little bit crazy.
I think I actually like it, man, because like it's coconut water. It's like 10% coconut water, and it's not too strong. I think the strongest one, personally, if you ask me, is like the grape, and it just tastes like cough syrup. So if that's your taste, then I don't know which one you were looking at earlier, but if you like cough syrup, that's the one to go with.
You're not really selling it by naming it cough syrup.
I'm not. I don't work for Prime. I'm not sponsored by Prime, so it's not my job.
Yeah. I did want to bring it on because I did want to talk about combat sports a little bit, because I remember last time we spoke, you had a little bit of an idea to start boxing. Has there been any movement on that? Or
So, Naff, a shit ton of things have changed over the last year. Now,
okay,
I'm pretty sure if you've noticed, obviously the whole entire layout you saw. Did you watch episode 17 on YouTube, or did you watch it, or did you listen to it on Spotify? How'd you go about that?
I'm a YouTube frog. Like, comment, and subscribe. Other YouTube frogs.
Did you like that episode, Neff?
I enjoyed it. Did I hit the button that says like? That is for the annals of history.
Well, fuck you. But as you can tell, a lot has changed. So to start, obviously, I have upgraded the microphone, right? So thing is, before I was shooting and speaking into a Blue Yeti, the Blue Yeti Pro or whatever the fuck it's called. Now I'm shooting on a Deity mic, which like this one in particular costs like $600. And then I finally got a Force-Right. So I'm like plugging into like an actual XLR input. So the audio listeners have a much more satisfying time listening to my voice right in their ears. So,
I kind of hated that on my earbud, but I hope everyone else had a better time than I did. And the Discord compression just absolutely distorted that.
Discord? No, we don't shoot these on Discord. These are all on a very professional app.
TeamViewer.
Yeah, TeamViewer, man. What are you on about? We don't use Discord over here. We're not broke bitch babies. But, a lot of other things have changed in the sense of obviously us implementing the game now where it's $13 on the line. And I got into a few car accidents this year, man. So
this is true.
Yeah, I got rear-ended 3 times, so I lost a lot of weight. So basically, for everyone listening, I don't know, did we actually talk about it on that episode, or did we talk about it after the episode?
Ooh, I cannot tell you, but you know who can? Dedicated viewers of the Sodacast podcast. Leave a comment and let us know.
Your hand was shaking there, man. For all the audio listeners, Naff pointed at the camera and his hand just started to fucking shake. I bet you instantly regret going to the fucking park now.
Not really. It's a nice night, a little bit of scenery.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. It's not bad. It just so happens to be like 4 degrees of fireworks going off behind me.
Oh, I mean, that's fine. That sounds like fun. Wait, did you use degrees instead of Fahrenheit?
Yeah, degrees Celsius. The entire thing is degrees Celsius and degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my god. All right, moving on. We're not going to mention that. That's just going to be cut straight from the episode. That never happened. But yeah, a lot of other things have changed. Like I said, I got into 3 car accidents. I lost a lot of weight. So for everyone that doesn't know, maybe if you go back and watch episode 3, I don't recall if we talked about it, but just in case we didn't, Naff and I talked about 2 different things, actually. The first thing being boxing. I was talking to Naff saying, hey, yo, man, it would be cool if I flew you down here and we set up like an event to like actually just beat the shit out of each other. Like, I think that would be cool. Grab a bunch of other local like influencers, have them fight on a card. I literally know a gym that will let me fucking do it. So I think it'd just be fucking cool. But I got into a car accident, so I just kind of stopped talking about it because I wasn't able to train anymore. So you would have beat the shit out of me because I would have been limping on one leg.
Still would, but go off.
Oh, still would. Yeah. You see, this is like the roots of it. And like the moment I DM you being like, yo, Naff, are you still down? Then you're going to go on Instagram immediately and be like, fuck this guy. Fuck Soda Cat. And then like, we're just going to have an actual back and forth from there.
Yeah.
But,
so that was a thing.
Good.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Good.
You said that was the first thing, yeah?
Wait, what?
You said that was the first thing. The car accidents kind of sidelined you a little bit.
Well, the thing is, I want to get back on track for that next year. So the goal is to hopefully, I keep saying the goal is, and it really is, man. I don't know if it will happen, but I really still want to put on like a boxing event. So hopefully I can still do it. I have the money just to throw at it. I think it'd be fun as fuck. So hopefully I can get you on board. Hopefully I can get a few other people on board that would definitely be down to come to Florida and to fight and beat the shit out of each other. I think that'd be really fun. And hopefully make money off of it. But so that was the first thing. The second thing is we talked a while ago on episode 3, and I think even a little bit before we actually shot the episode, about you potentially being a co-host.
Yeah. That is a long time ago. I don't even think had I finished streaming at that point. I think I was kind of in my death throes at that point.
You were near the end, like you said, like, oh, within the next like 3 months I'll be done streaming.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
So I remember, like, I felt bad, man, because I remember I just never reached out to you about it afterwards. I should have, but I just felt bad because I was like, damn, I don't know if I could get a co-host on here because I want to do an episode every other week. And man, it's hard to get a hold of people for these podcast episodes sometimes. Oh, holy shit! Describe what just happened. Describe what just happened for the audio listeners.
Okay, so a motorbike went past me at what seemed like 30 miles per hour on the path. I saw it like approaching out my peripheral. I thought it was on the road. No, that's on the path.
Yeah.
That's why we shoot out in the open, in the wilderness, so to speak, for things like that. You could see me die. This could turn into a live leak video at any moment. Live leak in the top right-hand corner.
Do I have your consent to still post the podcast if you do die mid-podcast?
Yeah, but at least blur me. Like, as I get turned into red mist, hit me with like a Gaussian blur or like a mosaic just to protect my dignity a little bit.
So, wait.
As I flash towards the camera like a Mortal Kombat fatality, at least put a black box over me.
So you don't want me to turn it into a full-on meme?
It depends on the meme. If it's going to be like a bad one, if you're going to hit me with like an intervention from Modern Warfare 2 plus 50, nah, don't hit me with the MLG type thing. If you can make it tasteful, I will allow you to.
What I was thinking of doing, you know how like they do the X-rays in Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
So you get like just straight up hit. It does like one of those little X-ray cutscenes, and then it goes back to you. Fatality. And the blood starts to just drip down as you hear the motorcycle still zooming off in the back. I thought that would have been fitting.
You know what? I will allow it. I will allow that. If the guy comes back and he hits me, go wild. So where were we? Where were we before that just happened?
We were talking about co-hosts and how, it can be a little challenging to get people to be consistent with doing things and to coming back onto a podcast.
It can be incredibly difficult, especially when you phone them at 1 a.m.
You want to tell everyone about that?
I mean, that's pretty much the story. I was just in bed. I was in my jammies, feeling really cozy. Then all of a sudden, I just get a phone call from Soda, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to pick this up. Even if he's bleeding out, there's nothing I can do from here at 1 a.m. Like, I don't understand what you thought. And it was to be on the podcast the next day. Just phone me the next day. Or leave a message. Like, I don't understand why it had to be a phone call right then and there to record in 16 hours.
Okay, listen, Naff. My excuse is this is the podcast episode from hell, and hopefully you can attest to that, okay?
Yeah.
I like to record these episodes way in advance, so then just in case like shit like this happens, I'm Gucci. I have time to find someone. So I originally reached out to someone. All right, cool. I said, hey, would you like to come on episode 19 of the podcast? Because before, a few months ago, they were super excited about it. And I kept following up with them. I was like, sweet. All right, cool. I'm going to get you on the podcast. All of a sudden, they just stopped responding to my messages.
Yeah.
The moment I actually invite them on, they just stop responding. So then I reach out to another guy. He says, yeah, I'd love to come on. Oh my God. Sweet. Cool. The day before we do the podcast episode, he gets into a car accident. He got fucking rear-ended. So I was like, oh, that's fantastic. Oh, nice. That's cool. Sweet. So that's when I was like, all right, fuck, who else can I call that would be a good fit? Because I have a particular vision for every episode that I do. And I was like, all right, I want episode 19 to be someone that I personally know that I can end the year out on, essentially. So that's why the two people that I talked to before were people I actually knew in real life. So I was like, all right, cool. Who else do I know pretty well that would be a good fit to end the year? The same person that started the year. So I was like, all right, cool. Let me reach out to Naff. Oh, it's 1 a.m, but like, what time is it over there? Like probably like 7 or 8 a.m, right? Like over here, like, no, wait, what time was it over here? It was like 10, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it would have been kind of late for you, but sociable hours for you, and I was just in unsociable hours.
It was like 10, 11 o'clock, so I was like, it's probably like 7 a.m. over there for him. No. And I just thought you were so pissed.
I'm not that far.
I don't know. I've never been to the UK. I don't go to made up places.
So like, I wasn't pissed. I was just baffled as to how you could possibly need me that bad to phone at 1 a.m.
Listen, Neff, you're a very important part to the Sodacast, because even when I knock you out whenever we box, I promise you'll still be a very important person on the Sodacast.
Yeah,
you're
just with an in memoriam part.
You are a fan favorite, by the way.
You kill me. I mean, yeah, of course.
You know that so many people,
I'm not surprised.
So many other guests have talked shit about you.
Okay, give me the comments. Give me the based on what they've said. Give me the IP address. Give me the actual address.
So I actually want to bring you back onto the podcast fairly soon to have a debate with another guest.
Okay.
Would you be down for that?
What is the debate? I'm very curious as to what this is. Like, am I walking into a minefield here?
I mean, go watch episode 8 of the podcast with Miggy after this. He really dogged on you. He was making fun of you when the Queen died. Like, he was talking shit about British people as a whole. I think he even talked shit about your soda. Like, bro, dude is so dumb. Like, he couldn't even get a real soda on. That's just typical British people. Like, I was like, hey, yo.
The thing I take the most offense to is me being representative of the entire of Britain. Britain is a melting pot of not necessarily great things, but I don't represent the entire pot. I'm just like meat bone thrown into boiling water.
But are you still gonna allow that shit talk on your name like that?
Have your people call my people, call Mickey's people, and we'll see what we can do.
Bro, I guarantee you, trust me, go watch that episode so you can see what you'll end up getting yourself into. Because I have other people that want you to come onto the podcast and talk with them, but Miggy especially really just wants to fight you, bro.
The hell? I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy that happened to be born here, and then leave here, and then come back, and then want to leave again.
But you're an influencer.
My fate is not on the money. I'm not on the money. I'm not even an influencer anymore. I've left that behind.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, Neff. Oh yeah, so like I said, for some reason I can't fucking speak anymore. A lot has changed over the last year for myself. Tell us a little bit of what has changed for you over the last year.
Yeah, so last time we spoke, my stream was in its death throes, and that was mostly just because I kind of lost the drive for it. It wasn't convenient to do in the space that I had, and also just felt as though I didn't have too much to contribute to the conversation anymore. So I kind of hung that up, and right now I'm just kind of exploring different methods of creativity. So most recently, and I think the coolest thing to talk about is I've started doing stand-up comedy now. So actually in person, leaving my house, going out into the real world, stage, microphone, me talking into it. You know, I've got some tight 5 minutes. Oh, that's been a good thing.
So you now do stand-up comedy?
I do indeed.
I actually saw that you made a post on Instagram about that, man, and I was gonna reach out to you, but then it got too late. I just completely forgot, and I was like, "Yo, how did the stand-up comedy go? How did it go?"
It went really well. There is this adjustment period where you're kind of used to streaming, and when you stream it, it's free flowing consciousness. You just kind of talk, and people will react to something maybe like 10 seconds behind. So you don't have to worry too much about leaving room for laugh. And if something doesn't work, you don't get negative feedback. Whereas when you do stand up comedy, if you've wrote something to have a laugh break and it doesn't quite work, and it's silent, which you know, not every joke lands, and sometimes things that you don't even think are jokes do land. It can kind of throw you off your rhythm. In the same way, like, you know, I went up there expecting people to type lol, and I see Total Biscuit's face in the chat. I didn't expect to get laughs because it's just a different method of feedback.
Yeah.
So it has been a little bit of an adjustment process. I kind of appreciate some things about it. Like, I think my style of stand up that I want to do is like 5 minute bits while I go to an open mic night and there's people that have just done like 9 jokes that are kind of very traditional set up punchline, set up punchline, set up punchline without any real theme throughout. So I'm kind of just finding my way, finding my style, and kind of connecting with people in the industry right now.
So did you ended up doing just an open mic, right?
Yeah, it was an open mic, and then I spoke with someone else who had a different kind of like open mic, a little bit more of a flagship one, and she was like, "Yeah, you know what? Come on, you can do that one as well." So you know, I'm about to do my second set in a week, and I might also do my third set next week as well if I can get something written. But yeah, it's kind of been a new medium for creativity, and from what I understand, it's been great so far. Like, I had one of the biggest laughs on my first set, and it's kind of interesting to come into the industry as like a new prospect. You know, no one kind of knows who you are. People are kind of on edge, being like, "Is he going to say something really fucked up?" And then, you know, I got my first couple of jokes out, and everyone relaxed, and everyone had a good time.
Mm-hmm. How does it
You ever do anything like that?
That's the thing, man. I've been talking about it recently, like with people in my personal life. I've been saying it for like when I say recently, the last few months, I've been like, yo, I want to do fucking stand-up comedy. And I just haven't had the balls to get on a fucking stage and just start talking in front of a shit ton of people. Because
yeah,
I have friends that like, I'm not the funny one of my friend group, apparently. I'm very horrible at like saying jokes. There's like a okay, so all right, I'm gonna be bashed for this. This one's gonna get dislike bombed. This episode is gonna get dislike bombed because the last episode 17, also got dislike bombed. It got 5 dislikes on it. And this one is probably gonna get it as well because I'm gonna talk about women again. But you know,
oh no, let me out.
But what happened was you probably heard about like female comedians, right? And like, you know, the famous thing about female comedians.
No, I haven't, Soda. Please enlighten me as to what the stereotype is.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, and you're just trying to cover your ass right now. It is that women comedians aren't funny. Just women in general aren't funny. A funny woman? No, impossible. So, like, my friends call me the female comedian of the group because any joke I tell, it's just not funny. So, yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever...
I mean, I don't think you've said anything that incriminating. I think you're safe.
That's what you think. But you got to remember what world we live in nowadays, Naff. Okay? This one's good. I'm scared.
You really are. You already are a stand-up comedian if you do well, you can't say anything nowadays type thing.
Oh my god.
You're coaching up Jimmy Carr right now.
God damn. But
that's the real split of Jimmy Carr, where he's like, you can't say any jokes right now, and then he goes on to do a 9/11 joke 22 years after the event, and it's like, come on, Jimmy Carr.
Hey, you can't make that joke. That's not funny, you British person. You don't understand. British person.
Send that to Jimmy Carr. Don't send it to me.
But
yeah, I think the best way to go about it, just do it. Like, come up with 5 minutes, if you bomb on the first one, your second one has to be better. If you do well in the first one, it means you've got a natural knack for it. It's a no-lose situation.
All right, give me an opener right now. Give me one of your openers.
The
The viewers are going to be judging you. They're going to be judging you.
Okay. Firstly, I want to clear my name in that my reluctance to do this is backed up by Bill Burr. Bill Burr, storied comedian. He was asked on an interview to do a piece of stand-up, and he's like, "No, fuck you. Like, I'm not going to do that. There's no audience. It's weird. So I will explain my jokes, but I won't actually perform them because I think if it doesn't work, it's going to kill the podcast, my man. You're worried about dislikes? Nah, this is not how you fix that. This is not how you fix that. But the first time I did stand-up, I related to the first time having sex, where you're very conscious about lasting the correct amount of time. You're trying really hard to get laughs, whereas it's the first time you have sex, you're trying not to be laughed at. And either way, failing is going to be horrific. And that was kind of like my first bit. And then I went into a bit about ego death and smoking weed. And then the last part of my 5-minute set was about going to see John Wick 4 in 4D because you want to be like John Wick. And then you realize he shoots someone twice in the chest, once in the back of the head. Your seat hits you 3 times. And you're not there to be John Wick. You're there to get the ever-loving shit beat out of you. And I didn't even have a joke to wrap up this set. I just went up there kind of not knowing how I was going to wrap up. I kind of had something, but I wasn't too pleased with it. And then in the moment, I came up with the punchline, and the punchline I was really proud of. So I was like, I left the theatre, I was limping, I was not in a good way. And I just thought, I am really glad I didn't see Oppenheimer in 4D. And that actually got a laugh. That got a laugh. And I was pretty pleased with myself on that one.
That's a pretty good one. Did you make that up yourself, or be honest? Be honest. Did you find something similar online and you just kind of twisted it into your own words?
No, that's a story that I've told in Discord. That's a bit I've told to friends, and I just kind of reworked it into a set.
Okay. So the way that you started it. Okay, actually, let me ask you this: how did the show go? Did you perform well in front of everyone?
Yeah, I thought so. It is very different to the performance that I'm used to now. The performance I'm used to now is in front of a camera, microphone. I'm in good lighting. I've got my green screen. Now I've kind of stripped all that away, so I was a little bit nervous. There's a lot of jokes that I kind of maybe chewed the meaning of or missed out a word that was kind of important. But at the end of the day, I got good feedback, and they were like, the MC said it is frustrating when a first timer does so well. And I was like, okay, I can get away with that.
Why is that frustrating?
Because I think generally people's first times don't go as well as it did for me. So, yeah, I think, there was maybe a little bit of FOMO, or a little bit of, why didn't I do so well on my first time? And I think that's only a positive thing. I took that as a compliment.
Fair. I feel like this is why I enjoy talking to you, Naff, and this is why I think that you and I have such good chemistry, because that's the thing. If I do stand up, I have it stuck in my head of how my first joke is going to go, and it's going to be talking about having sex for the first time. Right. We're going to go ahead. We're going to have a very intimate moment. I'm going to talk to you, the audience, and what's going to end up happening is we're all going to believe it's going to be this very magical and amazing moment. And then when we start to go ahead and get into it and get undressed, you're going to realize I'm only going to last 5 seconds, and you're not going to be having a good time. You're going to be wanting more. So that's why we're going to go ahead and we're going to play a little bit of a drinking game where if my joke is funny, you don't have to drink. You just laugh. If it's not too funny, you take a drink, and then eventually you'll start to laugh. Yeah, you could take that joke if you want.
I mean, I can't do that now because I've already done the bit about having sex for the first time being like comedy for the first time. I could do it for the second time, but it kind of loses its punch. It reminds me, I've seen this.
That's
this Tinder
exactly why
bio
you could
so
do it
many
again. That's exactly why you could do
times.
it again.
I've seen a bio on Tinder so many times, and it goes something like, "If you don't look like your pictures, you're going to buy me drinks until you do." That is pretty much what your bit is, right? The drinking game.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's simple, but I feel like it's a safe opener. That's what I feel like it is.
That's the thing I'm realizing. There were a couple of jokes that I had that were a little bit wordy, and if there's like something going on off stage, or if the audience is just like tuned out having a drink or whatever, it does get lost. So I'm going to have to kind of change my natural way of speaking to kind of aim more for the majority rather than the minority who's picking up every single word. So that's one of the big things that I'm working on in my set, kind of picking my wording a little bit more carefully, maybe slowing down the pace of it to make sure that everything I do is all killer, no filler.
I also think it comes down to, like, from the comedy shows that I've watched and that I've listened to, it seems like they more so, they don't just use their words, they use their body, yes, but they give you a scene to imagine in your head. That's what they do.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's what you need to be able to do. Like, if you just say a knock joke, for example, I feel like it's simple. It's going to fall flat. They're going to start to talk to each other. You got to describe a story to them.
Mm-hmm. That's what I try to do. And I think that's also like part of streaming, you're talking by yourself for 3 hours. You have to kind of extrapolate on details and kind of build a world when you're telling a story on stream. So I think that's kind of what I've kind of brought to my stand-up. Just the idea that you're building a world that you're bringing people into, as opposed to just telling jokes on the side of the road in the same way, like what a newspaper boy in the 1930s was like, extra, read all about it. Like, that's what I want to bring. I want to build a world on stage. And, hopefully next time I'm on the podcast can talk about a big success I've had in that world. But I'm having a good time in the short term, just figuring it out.
No, man, just the fact that you even went on stage, you got to remember, doing anything where you are under a spotlight, where you have eyes on you and ears listening, that takes fucking courage, man. I'm serious. Like, it legitimately does. Like, actually, like, for example, getting into a boxing ring, getting on a stage and doing stand-up comedy, being an actor or an actress, or fucking playing a sport, or, pretty much anything that's not your typical 9 to 5. Like, actually going out and getting in front of people that could just talk shit about you right then and there, and it's normal. That takes fucking balls, bro.
And the thing is, the open mic night I went to, it is an incredibly small one, and the audience is 95% comedians. So they know the act well, they know the art well, and if something's not working, they know precisely why that is. So it's a great audience to kind of get feedback on, but at the same time, they're not there to have a good time, they're mostly there to get their own platform.
Yeah.
So it can be a little bit daunting. The time I went to happened to be the most populated time I've seen it. Normally there's 15 people there. We were looking at 30 plus. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll go on 4th, see what happens. And it was a good time.
So you just decided, like, hey, I'm going to go up now? Or, like, how did that work?
I'd been to the comedy night maybe 4 or 5 times beforehand, just to kind of scout the vibe, see what kind of themes people are talking about, see the different styles. Kind of know some of the acts that could be going on amongst as well. Yeah. So, I'm good friends with a couple of people now. And then I was like, you know what, I'm going to start writing. And then maybe a week later, I just contacted the promoter, being like, okay, I've got something. Can I be on this date? And they said yes. And that's as complicated as it is.
You want to tell people where they can find your stand-up comedy, like where they can find you?
I mean, if anyone is in the Newcastle upon Tyne area of England for some reason,
you're in Newcastle?
You'll find me.
That's where it is, in Newcastle? I heard mixed things about Newcastle.
Newcastle is kind of like the night out capital of England. It is a very busy nightlife. There's always events on, but it's also kind of like it's a little bit bizarre. I think eventually the internet is going to realize that England has an Ohio, and it's definitely Newcastle. Like, you just see the most bizarre things of all time. I saw a 14-year-old who was drunk yesterday get escorted out by 5 security guards like he was Goldberg in the WCW. It was crazy. I have no idea how he got in such a state. But, yeah. You see a lot of interesting things in Newcastle. Some good, some bad, always entertaining.
Listen, man, when you're 14, you already have a much higher like pain tolerance, I believe. So, especially when you're drunk, bro, you're gonna be eating shots left and right and just fucking giggling them off.
The thing is, right, the kid, he was kind of cordial, so I think he wasn't necessarily the aggressor, but he definitely finished the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just kind of like, okay. And then as he was being led out, he just shouted, "Just stop oil." And if you don't know, that's kind of like almost like a political thing in the UK, because there's been these protests where people are like throwing orange dust onto a snooker table during a big competition, or throwing beans at art galleries and stuff, and it is in the name of stopping all the oil being used up. And I was like, dude is insane, but he's like politically active. Like, whether you agree or disagree with him, he stands for what he believes in. So I was like, you know what? Only in Newcastle could you see that.
Fair enough. I've actually been wanting to take a trip. Next year, hopefully, is going to finally be the year that I go to New York or to Italy or to maybe even the UK. And if I do come, Naff, are you being arrested right now?
No, that's an ambulance.
Oh, okay. So for all the audio listeners, Naff just lit up like a fucking flashlight, bro. He just had a flashing blue light that was just strobing on him. And I legit thought like a cop was about to come up to him and ask him if he was homeless or some shit.
A guy in the Pokemon jacket, are you homeless?
Like, bro,
guy speaking iPhone 15, are you homeless?
Like, bro, like you kind of look funky right now, man. You're drinking a Dr. Pepper in a giant fucking Pokemon jacket, just sitting on a bench with headphones down on the ground or down on the seat with your phone to your side, talking to nothing.
Yeah, I guess it looks a little bit funky, but for this part of England, it wouldn't be the top 10 weirdest thing anyone sees in a day.
Fair. So.
Oh, here comes another one.
Oh. Are they going to stop for you? I hope to God that would make this podcast a million times better if they just stopped and were like, "Are you okay? Can we check your heart rate?
Yeah.
Can we check your blood pressure really quick? You seem like you're a little."
Because I'm panicking through the roof. I'm like, ah.
Bro, we just have to cut the podcast short because they just toss you in the back of the ambulance. No, we continue it in the ambulance.
Yeah.
What do you think the signal would be like in the ambulance?
Honestly, in the UK, I'm surprised it's been as good as it has been thus far, so probably only worse. You might be looking at me at 240p.
I mean, you're not the clearest right now, but you're not the worst.
Yeah, that's fair. You can blame the iPhone 15. It did not get the Pro, and as such, do not have the big boy camera.
You have the iPhone 15?
I do. I bought it maybe like 3 weeks ago.
You know, it's because of you fuckers that we have USB-C on these fucking phones now. Fuck USB-C. I like USB-C.
It's objectively better.
I know. I like USB-C.
Come on. That is just having an opinion for the sake of having an opinion.
So, funny enough, I actually have like made a deal with myself. So the thing is, I normally upgrade my phone like every year. So like I got the iPhone 12 when that came out. I got the iPhone 13 Pro Max when that came out. Before that, I had the iPhone 11. I had the iPhone 10. Before that, I had a Note 10 Plus. Before that, I had a Note. I think that was like a year where I skipped. But then I had a Note 8 Plus. Then I had the Nexus 6P, and I had a few LGs before that. But my point is I have made a new rule. I have still currently the iPhone 13 Pro Max. I am not going to upgrade my phone until they get rid of the port in general. I don't want a charging port on my phone.
What, you just wanted to use your phone once until it runs out and then throw it out?
No, wireless charging. Wireless charging, man.
That's not going to take off. That's not going to be a thing.
It will.
Like, I understand it does exist. But there's also just accessories that do require some kind of port. There's always going to be something.
I'm talking about phones. With the iPhone, I'm not upgrading my phone until they have... And there is a phone out there. I think it's a Sony phone, if I'm not mistaken. Or it might be a Huawei phone or an Oppo phone. But like there is a phone out there that is completely portless. So I am not going to upgrade my iPhone, which it was rumored, just to clarify, but you guys fucked it up for all of us. It was rumored that the iPhone 15 wasn't going to have a port. But now we have to wait till the iPhone 17, at least. You fuck.
Why are you so anti-port? Because, what, you can save an extra 0.3 millimeters of the depth? Like,
no, it's just because...
the more the better.
It has nothing to do with, like, any of that stupid shit. Like, to me, it all comes down to, like, I just think it's futuristic. That's it. Like, I think it's futuristic and cool to have a phone that is completely fucking portless. Kind of like with, like, electric cars. Like, people, like, ask me, like, when we talked about the Cybertruck, and when we talked about... I've talked about Teslas before, I've just been like, I want to get a Tesla. But not because of, like, eco-friendliness, just because, like, they're cool. They go fast.
Yeah.
They have cool features. Like, that's it. Like, I don't give a shit about the fucking... the environment. Do I want the environment to get better? Yes. I will clarify that. Don't dislike bomb. Don't dislike review this episode. I already know. I talked about women for 5 seconds. But oh god, man, I'm gonna be fucking murdered. But my point is like, I already wirelessly charge my phone completely. I don't have a cable for my phone really ever on me. So it's kind of like, it would just be simpler if we went completely wireless, because then the wireless technology would then become a lot better, where you could charge your phone a lot quicker wirelessly. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
That's how I view it.
I mean, I think if you want aesthetic futurism, why don't you get the nothing phone?
Because when it comes to Androids, I am someone that is very, very interested in technology. And when it comes to smartphones and Androids in particular, they don't last very long. And what I mean by that is, like,
right.
if I want to hold on to my iPhone 13 Pro, I could hold on to this for probably 5 more years without any issues. As long as I physically don't damage the phone, I'm going to be fine. You know, I'll still get software updates. I'll be Gucci. It'll still be a great phone that I can use for years before it starts to slow down. But if I get the Nothing phone, I think they're on the Gen 2 of the Nothing phone. If I have the Gen 1 of it, it's not going to make it to the Gen 3. It's going to start to buffer. It's going to have so many issues. I know, because I've owned a bunch of Android phones. I want to get the Galaxy Fold. I think it's a cool phone. I want to get it. But I don't want to buy it because I don't want to spend upwards of $2,000 on a phone to then only use it for a year, because I need to buy a new phone. That's the whole entire reason why I have like this thing of I upgrade my phone every single year, because I was used to owning Androids, where it's like, if I don't have the newest phone, the phone that I have is just going to be dog shit, even if it was last year's flagship.
Yeah. That's the thing. I had the Google Pixel 7 at the start of this year.
Oy.
And I bought that at the end of last year, so probably around a year ago. And it all of a sudden it started slowing down and getting hot. And the big thing was, a random app, every time I powered it on, would just like freeze up and not respond. At one point it was Google Wallet, and that's how you pay for things. And I thought, if I didn't have my card on me, I would just be stranded. And if you can't count on your phone to help you pay for things, what can you count it on? So,
exactly, man. And that's why, like, to me, it's so important. Like, you got to pick the right phone. And I think there are good Android phones out there. I think a lot of them are really great. I do like the Nothing. It looks fucking cool. I've seen the software on it. I think it's a cool phone. But with a lot of these phones is that they just don't get software updates, so then they can maintain being good phones. Apparently, Google came out and said that they're doing like a 7-year thing or a 5-year thing or something like that for the life expectancy of the phone, where like you'll get guaranteed software updates for that long. And I was like, Google's the most dog shit company when it comes to software because you mentioned just now Google Pay or Google Wallet, right?
Yeah.
Google Wallet's gone.
Yeah.
It's Google Pay now.
I don't even know.
So they have like several
Yeah.
iterations of like Google Pay, Google Wallet. I forgot what the other one was called, but essentially like they always just keep on cutting off software. You probably remember Google Allo. Do you remember Google Allo?
The name rings a bell, but I could not tell you what it is.
Do you know Google Duo?
No.
Okay, Google Duo was basically the competitor to FaceTime.
I thought that was Google Hangouts.
Google what?
Google Hangouts was the FaceTime competitor.
No. Hangouts is its own chat. Is its own chat thing, which Google Hangouts also was to compete with WhatsApp. But I think, is Google Hangouts even still a thing? Is that still actually live?
It's not.
It's done?
I think so. I think it's went around the same time as Google Plus.
Hold up. Let me check. What was it called again? Google Hangouts? Hold on. Let me see. Google Hangouts. Nope, it's no longer a thing. You know what it's called now? Take a wild guess.
It's going to be Google Chat. We're in a minimalism era right now.
I don't know if you could see it. Oh.
Not now. Yes!
Google Chats, man. You got it right. So,
that's got to be worth at least $13. That is not a Fanta, but that is close.
So my point is like Google constantly kills off apps of like, I use Apple Pay all the time, man. I could not live without like just using my phone to pay for things. So I could not imagine having an Android right now and being like, oh, I have Google Pay right now. Never mind. Never mind. That's gone. So like Google Duo was the equivalent to Apple FaceTime. And then they had Allo, which was like equivalent to Apple messaging, iMessage. So they killed off Google Allo because what they did was they infused Google Allo into Google Hangouts. And then on top of that, they tried to fuse Google Duo into Google Hangouts. But then they just decided, all right, cool, we're just going to kill off Google Hangouts. And now they turned it into Google Chats.
Okay. And this is all at the same time as abandoning their SMS app that's in every single Android.
Oh, yeah. Well,
really, they could... If they merged the SMS app with Google Chat and every other iteration that's gone into that, you might actually have an ecosystem where the issue is no one uses messages anymore because there's like WhatsApp, there's Discord, there's iMessage, there's still voice.
Thing is, man, I'll be honest with you. I hate messaging on several platforms. I hate the fact that I message people on Facebook, I message people on Instagram, I message people on Discord. I wish that I just had one app. And that's why I personally prefer, like, if you have my cell phone, just text me. Don't fucking message me on Discord. Don't message me on Instagram. The only time you ever send me anything on Instagram or any kind of app like that, like a social media app, is when you're sending me like a post. So for example, like you're sharing with me like a, I don't know, a reel that you saw on Instagram, right? That's what you're doing. You're not going to fucking send it to me on text message. That's just stupid. But like, don't ask me how my day was on Instagram. I don't want to hear that.
I hope you realize that you're definitely going to get several DMs from people listening to this.
I know, man. No. It always happens. It always happens, man. Trust me.
Like, Soda, how was your day? Are you still a furry? And then a reel underneath it.
You know, I haven't heard the furry jokes as much lately, so that's nice to know that they'll be coming back now thanks to you bringing it up. So thank you for that, Naff. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
So Naff, I am a little curious just because it has been a year. I know that we talked a little bit about how before you used to live in China, right? It was China?
Yeah.
And you did for work, you were a teacher. Or were you a teacher or a substitute?
I was a full teacher, yes.
Okay, so you want to tell everyone what you do now?
Yes, I'm currently in between things. I am pushing the F in unemployed. It's a journey. It is a journey. I recently left my last job, so I don't think you knew that.
I mean, you told me that you left your last job. I thought you got a new job already, so that's my bad.
Yeah, and it's all good. Here's the thing. I took a gamble on myself that I would be able to find a job before I run out of savings, and you know, I still think I can do that. I've got savings for a couple of months, and I'm just looking for something that is more of a career than a job. And my casino work was kind of in the way of that. So that's why I'm kind of just looking right now, reaching out to some companies, being like, hey, do you need a marketer? Hey, do you need digital marketing? That type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's what it is. And it gives me the opportunity to free up my schedule, do some creative work, have an outlet for things, and hopefully when I get a job, have a bit more of a work-life balance.
You know, there's an easy field that you can get hired in, but the work can be a little tough, but it pays well.
Is this a joke? Is this a bit?
No,
Are you going to OnlyFans?
No.
Go to featuring.com.
This is me being like a Joe Rogan right now, trying to give you advice.
Okay.
You know, I was searching online the other day, and I saw that there was this thing. I saw it on LinkedIn, and on Indeed. It popped up, and it's called a sales job. Jamie, can you pull that up really quick? Can you pull that up? Uh-huh. Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, so it's a sales job. Yeah, you should try. Have you ever tried getting into salesman?
Actually, this leads very nicely into a story that you didn't even know existed. But
Ooh, spicy.
have you heard of a devil call?
What do you think?
So no, maybe you have. You're in sales.
Go for it. What the fuck is a devil core?
So devil corp, as in like the syllable corporation. And what a devil corp is, it's a multi-level marketing scam, but it is designed to entrap people that are into marketing and sales. So essentially, you get employed, you get treated as though you are like a commodity. They're very pleased to have found you. And then you realize that the reason they've hired you is the job is shit with no real progression. And if you stick it out and do it for long enough, eventually you become a recruiter for these and bring in more people to the scam. Okay? So I applied for something 2 weeks ago, and I went through the interviews, and it was a marketing job. The official role was marketing assistant. And then in the interview, we started talking about sales, and it's like, excuse me, this is a marketing job. These things are linked kind of closely, but not so closely that you can confuse them. And we're like, okay, so yeah, the first 8 months of the job, you're going to be doing door-to-door sales in a residential area. How many sales do you think I needed to get the lowest bracket of pay?
What were you selling?
So the company will bring out like random products. So it'll be like makeup one day, or like a charity for blind kids the next day. So it's never just one thing.
So just random shit they're giving you.
Yeah.
Okay. And how much did you have to sell, a week or a month? What's the question again?
How many would I have to sell in a day?
In a day.
So that's 5 days of a week. A shift is 8 hours long, 8 to 12 hours long.
I want to try to give them the benefit of the doubt. Because door-to-door sales is already hard enough. Because it's simply like people will just not answer the fucking door.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 5.
They wanted me to sell 2 a day.
Okay.
Which kind of raised my alarm bells, because I was like, the product and the actual method of sales must be dog shit if that is the bare minimum.
Okay.
Because let's say over like a 8-hour shift, you could probably hit $100 easily.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, this makes no sense. So I backed out of that, and I'm still looking at it since. But yeah, door-to-door sales,
well, that's
especially in the UK has a cost of living crisis right now. There's just no shot that you'd be even hitting those numbers.
Well, that's what you got to remember, man. Like, so what you essentially applied for over here, or at least my terminology for it, is called the pyramid scheme. That's essentially what it is. You work here, you work here. You get treated like, oh, you're amazing. You won't get paid commission for the first 6 months or the first year or 2 years. You won't even actually get paid at all. But promise you, it's a great job. You just got to hit your goals. You got to hit the sales goals, and you never end up hitting those sales goals. And then once you're there long enough, what they do is they tell you, okay, cool. Try referring friends and family. That's always your best bet. Sell your friends and family first. So I'm familiar with those. I actually almost worked for one myself. I forgot the name of the company, but involved like some sort of health insurance where it was commission only, and it was dog shit commission too. It was like 2% off of every sale. Keep in mind, like each sale was like $65 or something. So it was dog shit. So I didn't end up working there. So I know exactly what you're talking about. If you want, I mean, I could show you what I do, because I went from working in photography to then working as a telemarketer at Geico to then working as a sales rep at Farmers to then working as a sales rep at State Farm to now working as I don't want to say what I do now. Let's just say
I heard the word legitimately in your mouth, which is scary.
You heard what?
I saw the word legitimate on the tip of your tongue right there.
No.
You said legit. What is the alternative?
No. Well, I'll tell you after the podcast. I'll tell you after, because I don't want to dox what I do now. But I guess I kind of already just did, because you heard the first half. But basically, I still do sales. So it kind of comes down to just doing the research on the company before you start working there or before you apply for the job. Because like, I've seen a bunch of different sales jobs on Indeed and on LinkedIn where it's like, oh, they claim that they'll pay you, I'm not sure what your salaries are over there, but they'll say like, oh, $75,000 to $100,000 a year, no experience required, no degree required. You could work here, entry level position, starting rate $75,000 to $100,000, and it's a no name company that you never heard of before, and they've been around since like fucking 2012, and they only have 8 employees. That's not a good company. That's not legit. That's a scam.
Yeah.
But if you see company B, right, and they're saying, all right, cool, we pay $55,000 and the salary is $35,000 and the commission is 5% flat, and they've been around since, I don't know, 2010, and they have over 1,000 employees, that's legit. That's a legit company. That's actually a real fucking thing. So it's just kind of like you have to look at like little micro things like that. And then have you ever heard of Glassdoor before?
Yeah.
I recommend use Glassdoor. Go ahead.
Personally, Glassdoor is the most frustratingly designed website of all time because it locks the information behind logging in, and then you log in, and then it says, oh, it's been a while since you've told us what job you do. So then you say what job you do, then it asks you 15 questions about that job before you just get the whole, 1-star review for this company I'm looking up. Like, it locks so much behind you actually contributing.
Just do
and I get why they do that, but it is frustrating.
Just do what I do, man. Like, literally just create an account, bullshit your way through it. Every single time they do it, you work for company. How much you make? $5 billion a year. Like, they don't ever check it. Like, they're not going to ban you if that's the case. Oh, what do you do with that job? That's all I do.
Yeah. See, my thing is Glassdoor. No one ever leaves a job and writes a good review for that job, because if they like the job that much, they wouldn't have left it in the first place. So I skew Glassdoor a little bit, because generally people leave, they're pissed off. They're like, I'm going to write something really bad. And I think most jobs are reviewed to be lower and worse than they actually are, just because people leave when they're pissed off.
I differ on that, and the reason being is because, for example, myself with State Farm, I think State Farm is a good company, but do you guys have State Farm over there?
No.
Do you know what State Farm is?
Not at all.
Oh, it's an insurance company.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Fuck, I didn't realize that.
In a year working for an insurance company.
Wait, what do you guys have for insurance over there?
We just have like a bunch of like compare the market, direct line. Like, yeah, I've never heard of State Farm.
Okay, then I'm kind of surprised. It's like a big fucking thing over here.
It's apparently not that big.
Who the fuck do you think you are? Okay, all right, you're on my podcast, buddy. but all jokes aside, I differ on that because thing is, for some of the companies I've worked for before, I think that they're great companies, but at the end of the day, I just feel like there are other bigger, better opportunities out there. So it's like, if you lived in the US, right, I would tell you, by all means, go work for State Farm. Go work for that insurance company because it's a great entry point for you. Is it going to get you the money that you want, like hundreds of $1,000s a year and you can buy a mansion? By all means, no. But it's a great entry point if, for example, you're in a tight pickle, you need to make a good amount of money in a short amount of time. Go work for State Farm. Go work for an insurance company. So it just kind of comes down to that. And then like you'll see people leave good positive reviews on it. So it just kind of, and it also gives you a real perspective because like for some of those jobs that I checked out and you go to their Glassdoor, like you see everyone say scam, 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 scam.
Yeah.
So like if you Google a Glassdoor for State Farm, you're going to see maybe like 2 people say scam, scam, but then you'll see other people say, oh, I didn't enjoy this job, dog shit. Customers are awful. Systems are horrible, blah, blah, blah. But then you also see people say, oh, I used to work there. Great company, great stepping stone. Great company if you're looking for this. Great company if you're looking for that. And that's how I kind of look at it. Like you just, I've left a few Glassdoor reviews. So, and you know, I haven't put like a bad review unless I know it's actually a fucking scam.
Oh, I've only left bad Glassdoor reviews. Those are the only ones I've ever left.
The duality of man. You're pure chaos. I'm pure good.
Okay, I can get behind that. I am running on low battery, however.
Well, fair enough. Naff, you know these podcasts are normally 2.5 hours long, right?
Okay, I said earlier I'm all killer, no filler. So I would rather have like, you know, a tight 50 minutes, a tight hour.
I thought you'd be down for like the 2.5 hours. I thought you'd be down for that.
We don't need to do a Scorsese movie. There will be many more opportunities to do so.
Well, Naff,
this is how to be killers in the new moon.
We will get ready to end it, but we're gonna go ahead and lift the curtain a little bit, and we're gonna show everyone some behind the scenes. So what I like to do is I like to do a screen grab now for the podcast episode, like to use your face as a thumbnail, like in a much better way now. I don't know if you've seen the new thumbnails. I think they're actually a lot better. But yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
What do you want from me?
Yeah, they're great. They're so much better than the one that we did, where you grabbed a photo of me off Instagram and you grabbed a photo of you like this. You know, so much better now compared to before. I'm so excited to see what you do.
The Discord conversation we had where you sent that thumbnail from episode 3 and said it'll be a lot better than this one. You insulted your own thumbnail. Yes.
I actually did that?
Yes.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry, Naff. I'm so sorry. This one's going to be a lot better. I promise. This one will actually be a lot better. I'm going to do the same exact method for this one as well. But Naff, do me a favor. Move your camera. Kind of get like a face shot of you. Give me enough space to work with. Make a pose for the shot. Like do some kind of face. Are you going to be an 80-year-old man like covering half the fucking there?
Down here.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. You can make some sort of face. All right. Oh,
you got it.
Perfect. I got plenty of work out there. All right, perfect. So Naff, before we get ready to end the podcast, do you have any social medias of yours or any upcoming events, like maybe a stand-up comedy night that you want people to possibly know about?
Anything that is worth knowing about will be on Instagram at NaffGaines.
Fair enough. Is that the best place for people to find you?
I'd say so. I would say so, yeah.
Perfect. Well, Naff, as we get ready to end the podcast, last question. Have you finished your soda?
I have not.
You know what that means, Naff. So as I do my little outro, you got to chug it. You got to chug it, man. And it's freezing cold out there, too. So hopefully you don't spill that on yourself. So, guys, if you genuinely did enjoy, make sure you go ahead and check out Naff. It'll be in the description as well in the show notes. All you have to do is go to Instagram.com/@NaffGaines. Feel free to follow him there. That's the best place to find him and all upcoming events or future things that he does. If you did genuinely enjoy this podcast and any other podcast, make sure you drop a like, drop a comment, let us know. Did you appreciate Naff coming back? Was he pretty haha funny? Or was he pretty devilish, evil, Devil Corp? Would you say Naff was pretty Devil Corp? I would. On top of that, if you did enjoy, make sure you go ahead, drop a follow, drop a subscribe wherever you can watch the podcast. Leave a 5-star review if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get it. But with that being said, for now, have a fantastic rest of your day, evening, or night. Stay safe. Peace.